Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna, good morning. January 27th. We're reading from Srimad 27th, 2024. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 6, entitled Creation of the Universal Form. And we're going to start with text 26. We'll start with each Sanskrit word. Sattvam cha asya vinirbinam mahan mahatatva dishnyam upavisat chitena amsena yena asau Vijnanam Pratipadyate. We'll do one line at a time responsively. Sattvam chasya vinirbinam Mahandisnyam upavisat Chitenam Shena Yena Sao Vijnanam Pratipadyate Sattvam Chasya Vinirbinam Mahandisnyam Upavisat Chitenam Sena Yena Sao Vijnanam Pratipadyate Sattvam Chasya Vinirbinam Mahandisnyam Upavisat Chitenam Sena Yena Sao Vijnanam Pratipadyate
Sattvam chasya
vinirbinam Mahandishyam upavisat
Chitenam shena
yena sao Vijnanam Pratipadyate. Would anyone online like to chant the verse? Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 6, Text 26. 3, 6, 26. Translation. Thereafter, when his consciousness separately manifested itself, the total energy, Mahatattva, entered with his conscious part. Thus, the living entity is able to conceive specific knowledge. So this is about the creation of the universal form, and we're learning about creation. This verse does not have a purport, so we will continue to the next text. Text 27. Shirshino Shadyardara Pavyam kam naber upadhyata gunanam vitayo yeshu pratiyanti shuradaya. Translation. Thereafter, from the head of the gigantic form, the heavenly planets were manifested, and from his legs, the earthly planets, and from his abdomen, the sky, separately manifested themselves. Within them, the demigods and others also were manifested in terms of the modes of material nature. So I'll continue to the next verse. So there's no purport here either. Text 28. Atyantikena sadvena divam deva prapadire naram rajasva bhavena panayo ye chatan anu. Translation. The demigods, qualified by the super excellent quality of the mode of goodness, are situated in the heavenly planets, whereas the human beings, being of their nature in the mode of passion, live on the earth in company with their subordinates. Just looking in the word from word. So is it I because satvena by the mode of goodness, but then adyanti kena, excessive. Excessive, that's Prabhupada's translate is excessive. So is that perhaps the super excellence, the super excellent quality is excessive mode of goodness? They're excessively in the mode of goodness, perhaps.
Relative to us earthly folk.
Yeah, they're qualified with the super excellent quality of the mode of goodness. Read Srila Prabhupada's purport. In Bhagavad Gita 14.14 to 15, it is said that those who are highly developed, is this purport different than what's like the order? Does your purport start with that in Bhagavad Gita 14.14?
Yes.
It is said that those who are highly developed in the mode of goodness are promoted to the higher heavenly planetary system, and those who are overpowered by the mode of passion are situated in the middle planetary systems, the Earth and similar planets. But those who are surcharged with the mode of ignorance are degraded to the lower planetary systems or to the animal kingdom. The demigods are highly developed in the mode of goodness, and thus they are situated in the heavenly planets. Below human beings are the animals, although some of them mingle with human society. Cows, horses, dogs, etc., are habituated to living under the protection of human beings. The word antyantikena is very significant in this verse. By development of the mode of goodness of material nature, one can become situated in the heavenly planets. But by excessive development of the modes of passion and ignorance, the human being indulges in killing the animals who are meant to be protected by mankind. Persons who indulge in unnecessary animal killing have excessively developed in the modes of passion and ignorance and have no hope of advancing to the mode of goodness. They are destined to be degraded to lower statuses of life. The planetary systems are calculated as upper and lower in terms of the classes of living entities who live there. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Andeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagurjatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Sam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pradan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Aditanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvashesha Sunyavadi Paschata Desatarine. I read the translation of those first two of those verses. I was born in the darkest ignorance, the darkness of ignorance. My spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jalyam udirayet. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Nara Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. I appreciate whenever I hear Mother Nanda give class. She always mentions, and Srila Prabhupada, who translated the Srimad Bhagavatam. Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Ride Antasto Hri Abhadrani Vidunoti Suvrit Satam. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul, in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashta prayeshu bhadreshu dicham bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttamashloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Hare Krishna. So, because Srila Prabhupada in the purport mentions Bhagavad Gita 14.14 to 15, I thought we should, let's read that.
Okay.
Bhagavad Gita 14:14 to 15. So Bhagavad Gita chapter 14. 14:14. Chapter 14 and text 14 and 15. Yada sadve pravadetu pralayam yati dehat brit tado tadma vidam logan amalan pratipadyate. There's pratipadyate, which we've been seeing a lot in this in these verses in the Bhagavatam. You're gonna text 26 Prabhupada translated as cultivates. And here, Prabhupada translated as attains. So translation of that is, when one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets. Purport: one in goodness attains higher planetary systems like Brahmaloka or Janaloka, and there enjoys godly happiness. The word amalan is significant. It means free from the modes of passion and ignorance. There are impurities in the material world, but the mode of goodness is the purest form of existence in the material world. Those who are different kinds, there are different kinds of planets for different kinds of living entities. Those who die in the mode of goodness are elevated to the planets where great sages and great devotees live. Text 15. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangishu jayate tata pralinastamasi mudha yonishu jayate. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities, and when he dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. Purport: some people have the impression that when the soul reaches the platform of human life, it never goes down again. This is incorrect. According to this verse, if one develops the mode of ignorance, after his death, he is degraded to the animal form of life. From there, one has to again elevate himself by evolutionary process to come again to the human form of life. Therefore, those who are actually serious about human life should take to the mode of goodness, and in good association transcend the modes and become situated in Krishna consciousness. This is the aim of human life. Otherwise, there is no guarantee that the human being will again attain to the human status. Okay, Hare Krishna. So online we have Anasuya, Lakshmi Priya, there's a Bhakti Oasis there. Kim, Devin, Damayanti, Christina, Parampara, dear Govinda's here in person. So Prabhupada in the Bhagavatam verse, we just read several Bhagavatam verses and three Bhagavatam verses and two Bhagavad Gita verses. And so in this text 28 in the chapter 6 of Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada mentions subordinates, that those human beings being in the mode of passion live on the earth in company with their subordinates. And so the subordinates are the like animals, lower living entities in the mode of ignorance. So there's three modes of material nature that make up everything in existence in the material world. It's goodness, passion, and ignorance. And everything can be categorized and qualified by those three modes of material nature. So they're called, the gunas are like ropes. The gunas are like ropes. And so we can imagine ourselves. We can imagine being tied by ropes or being controlled by ropes, like string, almost like puppets. And so Prabhupada here is speaking about kind of a simple version of the simple view of the modes, and like pure, those are we could say it seems like maybe they're pure goodness, the demigods, well, not pure goodness, so but maybe predominated, at least predominated by goodness, because we're saying simply that the demigods are in the mode of goodness, and human beings are in the mode of passion, and then there's animals that are in the mode of ignorance. And then if we were to make a finer distinction, then we might say that the demigods are predominated by the mode of goodness, because and the human beings are predominated by the mode of passion, living it, and the lower living entities like animals are predominated by the mode of ignorance, because we can see in ourselves that there's usually, at least on the human being level, there's a mixture of the modes that are happening. and the demigods, if this is not, so Prabhupada said it's an excessive amount of excessive goodness, super excellent quality of the mode of goodness. At the same time, it's not Shuddha Sattva. It's not pure goodness, because although still Prabhupada does say that what does he say? He says development of the mode of goodness and one can be situated, but by well, I thought he said the absence of passion and ignorance. Maybe it was in the Bhagavad Gita. Let's see. Amalan. So, okay, in the text 15 of the Bhagavad, text 14 of the Bhagavad Gita that we read, text text 14 of chapter 15. So Prabhupada says, when one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets. And here's this verse also, Prabhupada's talking about the demigods who are super excellent in the quality of goodness, and they're attaining the heavenly planets. They're in the heavenly planets, situated in the heavenly planets. So Prabhupada in this purport, he says the word amalan is significant because it means free from the modes of passion and ignorance. So it's like a further distinction that this is this is my understanding. I'm going to check. We'll do a fact check here, but yeah, that just is the quality. It's a different distinction of just goodness without the modes of passion and ignorance, and then like Shuddha Sattva, like pure goodness. Is that what you say?
Okay, so Hare Krishna. My understanding of the way Prabhupada word things, it's like, yes, so sattva, material goodness, sometimes we'll describe it that in the material world, even sattva, it always has some tinges of passion and ignorance. At the same time, if you take that material sattva and just remove the passion and ignorance, it's not like you then have Shuddha Sattva.
Yeah.
It's like Shuddha Sattva, it's a different energy than material sattva. And Shuddha Sattva is actually synonymous with bhakti. But they both have sattva in the name. But as we like to say, the essence of sattva is to bring to conscious awareness that which till now we've not been aware of. So for example, material sattva, which is what we strive for, as a foundation for a dharmic material life, that might be like, oh, I see, I hang out in all this guilt because I want people to reassure me that I'm a good person. Okay, so then that awareness, that's like, okay, that's an influence of material sattva. And we become aware of something that till now we've not been aware of. Oh, I can see I've been deceiving myself about these material desires that I call spiritual. Okay. And then full Shuddha Sattva, that bhakti, that pure bhakti substance, it's the same thing and that might be revealing something that's not just born of the modes of nature, that could be revealing about Krishna's form and quality, something that's there within the core of the self, but till now has not been realized. Krishna's pastimes.
Right. So there's a distinction between the demigods being in goodness and the heavenly planets, and then Shuddha Sattva, like transcendence. So it's not just that. Okay, if we're in the mode of goodness and we remove all the passion and ignorance, then we have Shuddha Sattva. That there's a distinction there.
Right.
And so these so yes, and That's what Prabhupada is here. So those that are in the mode of goodness, the higher planetary systems, and Prabhupada mentions the subordinates. So these animals, the the animals that we're living on the earth in company with our subordinates, the human beings, and being in the mode of the passion, or at least predominated by the mode of passion. And that we have on earth these animals and there are subordinates. And so Prabhupada makes a point there, is subordinate, and so sometimes it's taken, especially in like Christian philosophy, like we have dominion, that we human beings have dominion over the animals.
Dominion, yeah, that's the word used in the Bible.
Yeah. So we have, and so that's same synonymous with being subordinate, that we have dominion, that we're dominated, it means we're in a higher mode. That's what we're saying here. Our mode of passion is higher than the mode of ignorance. And so we're in a higher mode of existence. So we have, we're in dominion and subordinate. And so some understand that dominion to mean like, well, that means we can do whatever we want with them. And so this is kind of like a twisted, rather twisted understanding of this term, dominion. So
We have dominion over our children.
yeah,
Does that mean we kill them?
you just do whatever you want.
Then that's the example of being. We have a responsibility to protect.
Yes, so Prabhupada says in the verse it's subordinate, and then Prabhupada says that they're meant to be protected. They're meant to be protected, and that but by excessive development of the modes of passion and ignorance, the human being indulges in killing the animals who are meant to be protected by mankind. Persons who indulge in unnecessary animal killing have excessively developed in the modes of passion and ignorance and have no hope of advancing to the mode of goodness. They are destined to be degraded to the lower statuses of life. So this is, you understand this also like subtle to gross, that we're gonna look at the association of the modes that we're associating with, the different mixtures of modes that we're associating with. And Prabhupada's making a point that, yeah, so to engage in animal killing, he said unnecessary animal killing, so that there's some time where perhaps animal killing may be necessary, being attacked by a tiger or something in the forest or something like that. So unnecessary animal killing, that this is in the mode of ignorance and excessive modes of passion and ignorance. And then by associating with those modes, then we're degraded even lower than the human species of life. And then these verses also make the point about at the time of death, that by the quality of our association of our consciousness at the time of death determines our next birth, and it determines our next body. So we can see that, yeah, this principle was like subtle to gross, subtle leading to external, subtle leading to gross. And we can see it within our lives, that our thoughts, thinking, feeling, willing. So our thoughts lead to feeling, and that leads to action, willing. Behind every action, there's some sort of feeling, some sort of emotion behind every action, behind every underlying every feeling is some sort of thought or belief, something on the thought level. And that, and ultimately, those actions will lead to changes in, starting from the subtle realm of thought. Those actions will eventually manifest in our bodies. We can see that if I have if my starting with the thought platform, if I have like, I'm gonna get into shape, I want to like lose weight, or and I wanna get really healthy, and then this, and there's like an emotion that is driving that. Maybe it's fear of I might, get sick, or maybe it's just like inspiration and like lusty desire for feeling good. Whatever the emotion may be, there's some emotion there. It leads me to some action. I'm gonna eat less and work out more, and then maybe take whatever this and that, and then my my body is, and then of course I'm associating with the different modes, associating with different people that will help me support that, different energies that help me support that, and then that leads to a change in body, and then we can also imagine other changes in body that can manifest if I'm if I'm thinking, well, I'm self-defeating thoughts and self-defeating beliefs, and that leads me to feelings of miserable feelings and self-loathing feelings, and then that may lead me to overeat and be and gain weight, and then also lead to a change of my body. Um, so that's a very like gross example, but so still we can see that according to the quality of uh, our thoughts, our consciousness, our what we're associating with, that has a change in body just in this lifetime. So the uh, the spiritual the spiritual perspective, that we're not human beings that have a spiritual, as Teilhard Chardin says, that we're not human beings having a spiritual experience, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So from this, the spiritual being, uh, so the spiritual being is eternal, and through any change of the body, just as our body's changing through this lifetime, from boyhood to youth to old age, then the spiritual principle is that that doesn't stop. That the changing of the body doesn't stop at the time of what we call death. That the changing of the body doesn't stop. The spirit soul is eternal. And then, so according to what mixture of modes that we're associating with, and what the consciousness that we've developed on that subtle platform, then just as we're uh, always, if you want to phrase it, manifesting our reality, manifesting our our reality in this lifetime. Similarly, at the time of death, then we'll manifest another body according to what we've cultivated in this lifetime. So that's the warning. It's a bit of a warning that Srila Prabhupada is giving, and that by engaging in uh, killing the animals are meant to be protected by mankind. So we said, like, yes, that there are subordinates. Prabhupada says, we talked about dominion in the Christian philosophy, that we have dominion over animals. So that means, yeah, we're dominant over animals. They are lesser than us. And then Prabhupada especially mentions uh, some of them that mingle with human society, that have been habituated to living under the protection of human beings, cows, horses, dogs, etc. So it's cow, horses, dogs, etc. See that? So cows, horses, dogs. So it's like, well, okay, we eat the cows, and we spend a lot of money taking care of horses. But we don't eat those, we ride those. Dogs, we just spend a lot of money on those, and we don't eat those, and they're just our friends. So it's like, okay, that makes sense, right? Okay. So everybody just kind of accept that. Um, as as conditioned in this world, we just accept that as a fact of like, oh yeah, cows are food, horses, some cultures they may be food, dogs, some cultures may be food, at least in our culture, horses and dogs definitely not food, definitely meant to be protected and loved, and but cows not so, not so much. So um so Prabhupada's making the point that um, that dominion, them being subordinates, that means that we have a responsibility to protect the animals. That they're meant to be under our protection. They're in the mode of ignorance. It's like yeah, Dear Govinda mentioned the example that Prabhupada gives, like a child. So children are in lower form of existence than adults in many ways. We have dominion over children. They are subordinate to adults. And so what does that mean? That means that we have a responsibility to protect them, to make sure they're taken care of. And ultimately, according to Prabhupada's teachings, that we engage them in this philosophy that we're speaking about now, starting with, yeah, knowing ourselves where we're at in these mix of modes of material nature, and then what's the rope that can get us out. That there's sometimes I talked about the three gunas being ropes. You can also look at them like strings, and that there's like, if there's a knot of strings. Sometimes my kids, they're learning to tie their shoes, and they tie their shoes. They think they tie their shoes in the way they tie them. They like, and then they come to me and they say, I can't get it untied now. It's like, what did you do? This is a knot on top of a knot on the top of a knot. Um, and so then I can work on it. And so, yeah, so because if you just keep pulling, and I think this is what happens to them, they just keep pulling, you pull this string and that string, it just makes the knot tighter and more enmeshed, stronger. And then there is one string though, if you figure out kind of, how you pinch in there and you can figure out, okay, if I pull this one, if I can get this one out, that will start to unloosen the knot and start to unravel the knot. And so Prabhupada describes that as that string is the sattvic string. That's the sattvic string that will, you just get that one loosened up, then the knot becomes manageable, you're able to unravel the knot. So it's described that we have a knot in the heart, that we have a knot in the heart, and this knot in the heart is also along with the knot in the heart, that maybe you can feel the knot in the heart if you give yourself a moment. I can feel my knot in the heart right now. That, we have a knot in the heart, and it's those modes. It's your passion and ignorance. There's goodness there also. The human beings were naturally predominated by passion, and also plenty of ignorance. And so then, and along with that knot, there's like the burning of material desires, the burning of material desires that's the passion. That's the passion is burning, it's fire, it's hot. And I can see my son sometimes. I mean, they're good examples. Of course, they're mirrors for us, because I feel the same way, but my desires are different. But sometimes he has these strong desires for thing. Right now it's like iPhone 10 or just a new iPhone, just something. Or, he got the video game thing already, so now it's like next thing is the thing that burning is, and it's sometimes painful. It's like he's just, oh God, it's her, like it's just tears and just like and I was like, yeah, it's burning. It's like burning in your chest. It's this desire for whatever it is, and it's like, okay, I don't have the desire. um I'm fine with my older phone, whatever, but I have this desire that for things to be more calm in my life, or peaceful or easy, or maybe something, a bigger house, or like a new car maybe, or just for things for relief of material suffering, and just burning desire. So so that's the Sattvic string is the string that we can pull to loosen that knot of material bondage and material suffering, the knot of the modes of material nature. And then the knot becomes loosened, and then is described that the spiritual master, the spiritual master is like is like the is like extinct the spiritual master's teachings. Hearing associating with the spiritual master is like a rain cloud that extinguishes the blazing fire of material existence. So we can, through associating with the mode of goodness, we start to untangle that knot, and then when we approach spiritual master and again, talking about different subordinates. So animals are in the mode of ignorance, lower modes, human beings are in the mode of passion, so that we're like, we have a responsibility to them, and they're subordinate to us. And then it's right, this is a spiritual master is not just in the mode like the demigods of super excellent mode of goodness, that he's in the mode of beyond that, Sudasattva and beyond Sudasattva to transcendental, fully transcendental to the modes of material nature, including the super excellent quality of goodness, like that of the demigods and the heavenly planets. So the spiritual master is able to relieve that burning fire, the burning of material desire. And yeah, so we can see that, like and so we don't even need to really, we do need to approach the spiritual master because we need, it needs to come from us. We need to approach, but the good news is that Srila Prabhupada, he approached us. He approached us that we don't need to like go searching and like go to India and go from village to village and go searching for spiritual master. The spiritual master came searching for us. So that's Srila Prabhupada's mercy. That's Srila Prabhupada's mercy, that he came to the Western countries and translated these books and empowered his devotees to distribute these books all around the world, so that, and if you're on this class right now because it's Srila Prabhupada approached you in some way, maybe directly or maybe through his representatives, his followers, and so that's the lifeline. Srila Prabhupada to have the lifeline. So then for us to approach the spiritual master, then we need to grab the lifeline. That's our responsibility. And then, and just with the different modes of material nature that yeah, so in this we're a mixture of passion and goodness and ignorance. There is goodness there. I can look at just my just my decision to be here right now this morning giving class. So yeah, Duke have been inviting me to give class, and so I can look at like, well, there was some mode of ignorance happening there, of just like, well, what do I have to do tomorrow? And well, I live kind of close by, and I live down the street, and let me see what else I have going on. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, I could. So there's just kind of mode of ignorance, and then there's mode of passion mixed in. Mode of passion was like oh yeah, maybe I'll look at them. I give a class, maybe people appreciate my class. If I give a class, maybe some people appreciate that. I'll look good. Maybe I'll get something out of it. Um, and then and that, but then that, yeah, it leads to the goodness part, a little bit of goodness part. Oh, this will be good for my purification. This will be this will be good for my purification. That yeah, if I give class, then I'll be more attentive to reading, and I'll hear more from Srila Prabhupada, and my rounds will be better in preparation. Like this will be good for my purification. And then so, and I can't say that I have too much transcendental uh quality of consciousness, transcendental to the modes of material nature. That might be look like yes, this will be pleasing to Srila Prabhupada for me to preach his for me to to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam, and that I should accept this service to serve the devotees and followers of Srila Prabhupada. And so maybe there was there that a little bit, but yeah, this will be pleasing to Krishna. This is what Prabhupada would want. And so maybe that was there a little bit. But the good news is that whatever our motivation and our mixture of the modes of nature that we're coming from, this process is transcendental to Srila Prabhupada giving us a transcendental process. So in the beginning of the class, I read this this verse in particular. This is the English translation. By regular attendance in classes, this is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and it says, by regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So I know that even though I'm giving this class with a mixture of ignorance and passion, maybe some goodness, that this process is transcendental. And so I'm engaged in a transcendental process. And of course, we would like to raise our level of participation in that uh, transcendental process. And at the same time, we don't need to be discouraged that, oh, well, I'm doing this from have this mixed motivations, ignorance, passion, that by engaging in the service, in the process that Srila Prabhupada gave, wherever we're at, then naturally the process works. And naturally, if we approach it with sincerity and awareness, consciousness, authenticity, then naturally um, the purification works. And so this process that Srila Prabhupada gave in this purport, he mentions animal killing, unnecessary animal killing. So that is one recommendation that Srila Prabhupada gives for his followers. That there's four regulative principles, the regulative principles of freedom. That yeah, these principles are not meant to be restrictive uh, to control or to take away things that you know to be punishment or be some kind of power trip thing or something, or just to do. No, it's meant to free us from exactly what the things we're talking about, free us from that knot in the heart. So that, yeah, unnecessary animal killing, it's in the mode of ignorance, eating flesh just as a quality, the quality of the of meat is ignorance, is a type of food stuff. Passion, foods in the mode of passion might be spicy and extremely extreme flavor or whatever, spiciness and hot, and then foods in the mode of goodness are like, yeah, like rice and grains, like whole grains, whole foods, vegetables, milk products, uh, like that. And so um, so it's science-based, it's Vedic science-based and philosophically based, that yes, if you want to loosen the knot that's in your heart, if you take a moment again, I'm there's, if you can look at, is there that knot in the heart and that you would like to be loosened, that you'd like to let go of, that we want to let go of that knot in the heart and that burning fire of desire. Of course, maybe it's something gross and obvious, like I want that person, I want that person to change, I want this object, but it could be, that I want this, I want more money, or I want more respect. I'm not respected. I don't get the appreciation I want. I don't get the love I want. And people don't, let's do what I say. I don't have I don't have the love that I want, whatever it may be. There's a burning desire there. So if we want to be relieved of that, then um, we can. There's a process to elevate ourselves from the modes, from ignorance and passion to the mode of goodness. And ultimately, by following this spiritual master, be engaged in the transcendental process of bhakti and Krishna consciousness. And so, yes, so not eating animals is one of those recommendations, the four regulative principles. Also, to not engage in intoxication, including coffee, tea, and cigarettes. Prabhupada would say, because some people say, "Oh, I'm sober. I don't do any." There's different levels of sober. I heard somebody called, what do they call it? California sober, or there's like different levels of sober. I'm from Palatka, and so I know what Palatka sober is. Palatka sober means I mean, you definitely drink caffeine, and you might smoke cigarettes and coffee, and you probably smoke weed, and you drink alcohol, and that's Palaka sober. Okay, you're doing good. I've been clean for a long time. Yeah. So there's different levels of sober. So Prabhupada, so this no intoxication. Prabhupada gave a very clear definition. He would say no coffee, tea, or cigarettes, including those things. So yes, these are yeah, in the lower modes, these are qualities, substances, things that we can intake. They're in the lower modes that inhibit us from making progress in the ways that we're talking about. No intoxication. Also, a regulated sex life. So no illicit sex life. This is obviously mode of passion, mode of passion, that we're already so dominated by the inside. Again, that the strongest, Prabhupada says, the strongest material desire is the sex desire. In the material existence is the strongest, the number one. Without like the second place is really really down the list. It's sex desire is the thing that's binding us most in this mode of passion on this earthly level, that Prabhupada says that those who are overpowered by the mode of passion are situated in the middle planetary system of the Earth and similar planets. And so why do what's wrong with being in the Earth and similar planets, or even the heavenly planets? Well, the distinction whether we're in the earthly planets or the heavenly planets is that there's the basic problems of life, which is birth, death, old age, and disease. And that these are the real problems of life. That we have so many problems, and we create so many problems and in life. And then if we were to distill it down, and these are the four cornerstones of all the problems of life: birth, death, old age, and disease. And they're the real problems, and they're the ones that maybe we try to avoid by making other problems, but these are the real problems. And in every Bhagavatam class, Srila Prabhupada, we address those. We address at least death in every class. And in this class, we discussed death, and that, yes, so that's a cycle, samsara, cycle, birth, death, old age, disease, and that to free ourselves from that cycle. And the cycle is painful. The cycle leads to that in the knot and the heart, the burning desire in the material world. And so to truly get out of that cycle completely, then it requires being freed from that birth, death, old age, disease. And that is a transcendental existence, a transcendental realm, a spiritual consciousness, spiritual world. And so that's why, to get out of this earth, similar planets, even the heavenly planets, that the mode of goodness is a rope also that's binding us to birth, death, old age, disease. Maybe we'll have a super long birth and a super long life in a heavenly planet, not, very little disease, but still it's still part of the fabric of the existence of the heavenly planets. So also no gambling. Gambling, obviously, there's obvious forms of gambling. And then more the essence of gambling is like to find it's like get rich quick, take risks for material gain, and the easy way, kind of the easy way out, take risks, gamble. And that of course, all these propensities can be dovetailed, and actually that's the process of Krishna consciousness, is to take all of our tendencies and our all of these all of our tendencies, and to dovetail them and purify them, so that we can, we're no eating meat. What are we going to eat? Okay, we'll eat prashadam, eat these foods in the mode of goodness and offer them to Krishna. And then they become spiritualized, and then and prashadam, uh, it just takes some time to develop the higher taste, and then pretty soon, like I mean, like a steak or burger compared to something like nice pakoras fried in ghee, like some cauliflower pakoras fried in ghee, and like samosas and paneer. And do you have any of those this morning for breakfast? I don't know. So, uh, so, or with some curd steaks, and nice dal and sabji. So it's like, well, that's so much more enjoyable than like just put burger and a bread and fries or whatever. So much more relishable, and so yeah, you engage the eating, and there's a way to engage the sex life in Krishna consciousness, for begetting Krishna conscious children, and raising them in Krishna conscious way. And we can be intoxicated with stories of Srimad Bhagavatam and kirtan, like 24-hour kirtan, or the big kirtan festivals, and get intoxicated in the holy name, and
Stay high forever.
And then we take risks, gambling. We can gamble for Krishna. Take big risks for serving Srila Prabhupada, because what it is, it said that regular attendance in classes and rendering of service to the pure devotee. So Srila Prabhupada is the pure devotee. So rendering service to Srila Prabhupada, we take risks for Srila Prabhupada, then that is the good way. That's the way to engage that risk-taking, gambling propensity. So along with those four regulative principles, Srila Prabhupada also recommends the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So at least 16 rounds per day, a minimum of 16 rounds per day. And that this mantra is especially recommended in this age of Kali, and as a means for deliverance and self-realization. And it's an experiential process. So it's I think everyone here's experience with chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And yes, that this is also, this is talking about associating that this sound vibration is not tinged by any of the modes of material nature. It's purely spiritual sound vibration. Of course, we can be mixed with different material modes when we're chanting the mantra, and at the same time, talked about earlier, is a transcendental process. It's a transcendental sound vibration. So wherever we're at, in our mixture of the modes of material nature, then this is going to support us to raise our vibration, and raise our mode, and ultimately purify. So the transcendental platform. Hare Krishna.
Very appreciative.
Thank you for listening. I'll read I didn't really talk about the verses. We read like five different verses. I don't know how much I read about the verses, but thank you for listening. And I welcome any sharing or questions or anything we like to share. Bhakti Oasis.
Hare Krishna, this is George and Danielle. Thank you so much for morning program. I wanted to share a realization that I've had through hearing your class about the influence of association on the modes of material nature. I stopped eating meat in 2018, and the idea of domination or over dominion over animals has been something my family has brought up again and again throughout the years as I've tried, to engage them or support them to not eat meat. And Danielle and I recently read from Prabhupada's book, Elevation to Krishna Consciousness. Prabhupada says that if even one person in a family becomes a pure devotee of Krishna, then something like 100 generations, past and future, are automatically liberated, by Krishna's like mercy, or Krishna's, I forget, I'll paraphrase, but it was something like Krishna's care or consideration for his pure devotee. He just blesses everyone and, related to that devotee with liberation. And so I've been really focusing on, like you were saying, on the value of associating with the pure devotee and associating with Krishna. We were just reading in Bhagavatam that, one of the ways to associate with Krishna, like his name that you were mentioning with chanting and fame and pastimes, is also through his instruction. And so I'm really appreciating the opportunity to listen in on Krishna's instruction as a way of associating. I'm experiencing myself. My realization is to just work on myself, work on cleaning the modes from my heart. And I've been increasingly less concerned about, trying to influence my family or even the degree of my association. I've been focusing more and feeling less attached to them doing one thing or the other, just recognizing that really the work at hand for me is to just clean my heart of passion and ignorance. And so I'm appreciating that. I'm finding your class supportive to this realization that I've been having.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Dr. George Prabhu, for sharing. And yes, it sounds to me like like a nice way of finding balance or moving towards balance, that like you are perhaps preaching to your family or wanting to persuade, or sharing with them your your realizations, your understanding, and you some maybe some debate, and you're having these conversations for maybe for years now. And then again, maybe that's been frustrating, been frustrated in some ways by that. And then so now you're having this like clarity, realization to focus on your own purification, on your own process, and being backed by philosophy, being backed by Srila Prabhupada's teachings that, because yeah, I get that you're wanting for your family to be, to be, liberated, to be freed from what we're talking about here, freed from the modes of material, freed from this, this cycle, this ignorant mode of ignorance and passion of killing, eating animals, and you want them to be freed from that, from that influence, the effect of that. And then, so you're seeing like, okay, this is a more beneficial, this is the right way for you to go at this time, is to focus on your own purification. And yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that. And yeah, this principle, I've heard different number of generations, 100 generations, that's a good big number there. So yeah, I'm hoping that maybe my next generation, or within that next 100 generations, that some pure devotee will be there to
Take you back to God's
take me back to Godhead. That's sort of my plan, as part of my plan. Thank you, Prabhu. Nitya Gopal, Prabhu.
Yeah, so thank you very much for the wonderful class. I really appreciating your distincting and breaking down Srila Prabhupada teachings and Srila Prabhupada principles according to the modes of material nature, how is uplifting us from the lower base gunas to the higher gunas by the activities that we are performing. And I really appreciate your point that when you mentioned that no matter which gunas we are in, but if we engage in a transcendental process, it immediately uplifts us to the higher modes. At least we get a touch of Vishuddha Sattva. I was just correlating the points, different teachings of Srila Prabhupada in this context. That how sometimes the three modes of material nature can influence our mind, but the intentions is important of the heart. So we can always differentiate from the mind and the heart. The three modes may influence the mind in a tamoguna, in a tamasic modes of nature, but our heart may still be wanting to serve Krishna. Somebody may be influenced by higher modes, maybe mode of goodness, but their desire may not be wanting to serve Krishna. Like for an instance, we have the example of Vritasura. Vritasura is Asura, is a influenced by mode of ignorance, but he's one of the greatest devotee of Krishna. And is the kind of teachings he gives to Indra while fighting with him was unparalleled. The same time we have example like Ravana, who was influenced by a mode of goodness. He was a Brahmana, but his whole intention was to take away Sita from Rama. So sometimes the devotees can be very, very discouraged that I am influenced too much by mode of passion and mode of ignorance, not in a mode of goodness. But our intention to serve Krishna, our intention to purely serve Prabhupada's mission is the key, that even though we may be influenced by mode of ignorance, mode of passion, but is a direct way to enter into Vishuddha Sattva by cultivating that intention.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing that. Yeah, I hear your encouragement. Your message, it's encouraging message. I'm feeling encouraged that yeah, the distinction maybe between mind and the heart. I know sometimes the heart and the mind are together there, but the distinction there, like the heart, like the seat of the soul. I'm hearing like the heart is like the seat of the soul, and then there's like our mind, like the subtle material mind, and that yes, that it's the quality of the desire of the soul, the desire of the heart, it supersedes it's more important. We can give more importance to that and see that, okay, yeah. Yes, and yeah, I appreciate you mentioned about intention, and yeah, and like sincerity, right? That's what's more important, and then perhaps even producing more results, more results in purifying ourselves and moving toward transcendence is that sincerity of the heart, the sincerity of the desire. And so, yeah, I've received encouragement from your message. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you very much for reflecting. And I was just when he was reflecting, I was just reflecting on one more point. That sometimes Krishna may pushes us lot of into mode of ignorance in our life, and eventually we were to become devotee in that lifetime. And interestingly, what happens? Krishna gives us to burn out of darkness so that we can come to light. As much as darkness Krishna presents in front of a devotee in a mode of ignorance, in the form of mode of ignorance, that much potentiality we have to come to mode of goodness and even transcend that. Sometimes, like in India, people are maybe in mode of goodness, but they may not catch Krishna consciousness. But for some specific reason, Krishna may pull or give the reaction of so much of sinful reaction, which comes in the mode of ignorance, because mode of ignorance is rooted in the bad karma we perform. So Krishna may want to burn all that bad karma in one lifetime, and may just appear that is too much of pain, too much of destruction happening, which is mode of ignorance. But that may be the opportunity for us to grow beyond a certain point in our Krishna consciousness.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Damayanti.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the class. And I was gonna say something similar to Nitya Gopal, but not in the same philosophical way, just personal realization. I felt encouraged by your class too, that just being reminded that, it doesn't really matter that much, that if I have mixed motivations or emotions or the mind, the thoughts and feelings going on inside, if I am engaging, it's like, because I well, I'll finish that sentence. Like, if I am engaging in I don't know if I'm engaging in transcendental activities. I mean, yeah, chanting Hare Krishna is transcendental just because of the mantra, and like going out to do Sankirtan and trying to share Prabhupada's books or share prasadam. Like, I guess this is automatically transcendental. And I felt really encouraged realizing that, like, it doesn't, because I tend to judge myself somewhat harshly, and I get anxious about my flaws. I feel fear. Like, I see flaws because I know perceptive that this is a human with flaws, and then I feel responsible and I feel anxious and concerned about where will I be heading if I carry around these flaws, and anyway, in this class I felt a sense of liberation from that fear. Maybe it's healthy to be concerned, of course, about your consciousness, and like there's a healthy way to be attentive, like, oh, I'm noticing different modes, like to be attentive to it, but not be so anxious. I don't think I've been like in a healthy level of concern or anxious. Thing is leaning towards judgmental and over analyzing, things like that. So anyway, overall the class, and then furthermore supported by Nitya Gopal Prabhu's comments, I felt liberated. Like, okay, just do the process, like chill out, like, can just continue to do the services and don't pay so much attention to, don't overanalyze the modes within this being and the flaws, because it's not going to really help. I mean, yes, try to clear it up and, like, try to be more sattvic, but including in the mind. My mind isn't necessarily sattvic. It's probably mode of ignorance, because it's just ruminating on flaws and problems. So anyway, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I also, I appreciate sharing how you're feeling encouraged, and also, yeah, I hear like it's, yeah, you're moving towards balance. That's what I'm like kind of hearing of like, yeah, there's a healthy process of wanting to, you know, raise our level of in the modes of material nature. And you want to be aware of that. And there's even like, yeah, a lot of so much of what Srila Prabhupada gave in terms of like lifestyle and the culture and Vaishnav culture, Vaishnav lifestyle, even Vaishnav etiquette, and all these things are meant to. It's like by engaging in that, that's raising our level of in the modes and ultimately to transcendental level. And so it's like, yeah, to be aware and engaged in that. And the phrase that's coming to me is kind of like it's a cliche of like, what do we give power to? And it's like I'm hearing like, yeah, to give more power to the part of you that's like sincere and like actually going out and doing the process, and your sincere desire, your willingness to engage, give more power to that than the other part of like the, you know, criticism, judgments, all those sorts of things. So thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you. And one more thing, I have like starting to have a little breakthrough with uh the judgmental mind. And it's just like I'm practicing suspending judgment, and it's a simple thing, but I haven't practiced it. I mean, I've done it, but not with any intention or awareness. But lately I'm practicing suspending judgment, whether self or others, and it is incredibly liberating. And I can actually access the sincerity underneath the love and care. Like that, I'm noticing that being judgmental is coming from a mental place of fear, and there's fear like associated with it. And if I suspend the judgment, I'm like, I'm free to be loving, like to go to love and joy and other qualities. So it's just I'm just having a little bit of a breakthrough with the judgmental mind. And it's exciting because it was immediate, like, oh, I feel like loving and free and joy, like all these other qualities when I was able to suspend that. And I'm just sharing that side point. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yes, so suspending judgments sounds, yeah, it's an austerity, the judgmental mind, and then to actively try endeavor to suspend those judgments. It's like you're having a breakthrough with that. And that's would you like to share?
Bhakti Oasis.
Hi, Krishna. I just was thinking about a purport that we read this week in which it says, foolish people do not know that association is the cause of acquiring qualities. Association with fire makes the object hot, even in the material sense. Therefore, association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead makes one qualified like the Lord. As we have discussed previously, one can achieve 78% of the godly qualities by the Lord's intimate association. To follow the instructions of the Lord is to associate with the Lord. The Lord is not a material object whose presence one has to feel for such association. The Lord is present everywhere and at all times. It is quite possible to have an association simply by following his instructions, because the Lord and his instruction, and the Lord and his name, fame, attributes, and paraphernalia are all identical with him, being absolute knowledge. So I just feel like if I am following his instructions and I'm associating with him through Krishna Prasadam, through the Maha Mantra, through the activities that are instructed from his pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, that I am going to be naturally qualified, not because of my super intellect or my amazing capacity to do any particular thing, but because I trust that, if I throw something in a fire, it's going to get hot. I can just trust that. I can just rely on that and hold to it. And I don't have to create a new process. I don't have to endeavor too hard. I can really just be sincere and follow the instructions that are given. And that all good things will flow from that, watering the roots at the base. So that's what's really present for me when I'm hearing this class and all of your sharing. I appreciate you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hi, thank you, Bhakti, Danielle, Mataji, and Prabhu, and Yes, as I think I was trying to say that, what you said, what you just said, Srila Prabhupada, from his purport, I was trying to say that in my class, and Srila Prabhupada obviously said it perfectly. And, yes, so you trusting that, yeah, you put something in fire, it's gonna get hot, it's gonna get those qualities of the fire. And so if we're associating, we're putting ourselves in the association of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, then we're gonna get those qualities. And, yes, and you mentioned Krishna's instructions, and George also mentioned Krishna's instructions. And yes, we get Krishna's instructions through the spiritual master, and then perhaps it goes without saying, but it's worth saying anyway, that, Bhagavad Gita, we receive Krishna's instructions, still through Srila Prabhupada, but we do, Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's instructions. It's such a special book. It's transcendental literature.
Certainly, I appreciate all parts of the discussion, including this distinction between the mind and the soul. It's an important distinction. We're not the body, we're not the mind. That's a good thing. And then the verse on Bhagavatam, as far as I'm aware, on which Prabhupada lectured the most is first canto, second chapter, text 6. And it's the verses Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhaktirat Hokshaje I Tuki Pratyata Yatma Suprasidati. I actually quote that towards the end of the foundational seminar, and less than 2 weeks ago, I quoted it in Landrindod, Wales, around the intention walk, because Nitya Gopal shared about intention. And that again, that's the verse that Prabhupada lectures on the most of all the Bhagavatam, that when the intention is clear for bhakti, nothing material can get in the way, including our own mind, influenced by the rajas and the tamas or anything external. Of course, the mind itself is external to the soul, and someone else, or the weather, or the pandemic, or the economics. It's all external, but it's like the power of Shuddha Sattva, the power of bhakti, and so we have that desire. Now, at the same time, we don't want to misuse that. Yeah, I got all these lower mode rajasic tamasic habits in my communication, my lack of cleanliness, but I'm sincere about bhakti. No, mamchyo vyabhicharina bhakti yogina sevate sagunan samati yaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. It's true that one who engages in devotional service naturally, as others were sharing, naturally we rise, we come to the mode of goodness. At the same time, it's an integral aspect of our process of bhakti to consciously cultivate the mode of goodness in our speech, in our listening, in our eating habits, in our sleeping habits, etc., etc. So it's different from, like, as you were, yeah, like as others were sharing, like, it's one thing to, like, we can try to be, the sattvic goon, and we make that the goal. And that's discouraged. We've given the airport example. Like, if we go to the airport, it's so nice, we just sit there and we don't get on the plane. At the same time, we're encouraged to go to the airport, cultivate sattva as the most conducive mode of consciousness, as like a launch pad for bhakti. At the same time, wherever our mind's at, wherever our psychophysical nature's at in terms of the mixtures of the modes, then that's not like, okay, so when I become a lot more pure in goodness, then I'll choose bhakti. No, from wherever we're at, we're encouraged. Akamasa kamava mokshakam udaradi tigrena bhakti yogina yajita pusham param. Wherever this subtle and gross body are influenced by whatever modes, we're encouraged intensely cultivated desire for bhakti. And that's the most powerful force in creation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear Govinda Prabhu. Anyone else? Anyone else? Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna, Namo Vishnu.